Super awkward Funcast. You're listening to the Super Awkward Funcast. Yeah. That is the opening theme song to the Super Awkward Funcast. Welcome to the show. That is a little bit late because I wanted to do this at the end of June, but I had a lot of problems putting the time in to do so. I had voice issues the beginning of the week, scratchy throat. It actually hurt to talk. It doesn't hurt to talk anymore, so that's good. And so I'm coming back to you. And also I had some prior engagements that I will get to later on that have taken up a lot of this week. So ahead of the 4th of July, I wanted to hurry up and get this show out. This is the end of everything, guys. It sounds dramatic. It sounds like melodramatic. It sounds like a little hyperbolic. But you know what? It applies to certain things. So you're on the page, the channel, Elle Latham, and you started here, so welcome. And allegedly. Maybe you didn't start here. Maybe you're here through some other means. But thank you for being here, and that's all that matters. So if you want to know what happened with the Lively Weave Wayfarer final memorandum opinion, that is up from 2 weeks ago. There's new news today that we'll get to if we have time, but we're doing the end of everything, and that doesn't include Blake Lively, sadly, and her husband. Then the Funkive, we have new episodes there. New old episodes, my bad. One of my favorites, Rise of the Machines, which is very relevant to this episode. It's good to listen to that one. Listen to that one first, and then watch this one because it's all connected. And it's funny how I've noticed when I'm going back and getting sources for these episodes. Shout out, by the way, to Podchaser, who is nice enough to have given me clickable links on my old episodes of my show from Podbean. I'm able to access that, which is great, and then it makes it a lot easier for me to find those links because I have the information. If I didn't, I wouldn't have some of them because they have gone to the Wayback Machine, and sometimes they aren't even there, and I have to just let them go. But you know what? That's the great thing about having the podcast, because you hear it or you see it, and that's posterity. That's there for posterity so that you can listen to that back, and you'll know that I was legitimately reading this article or watching this thing or whatever, and that's what it was. So yeah, and then we have deletions, distractions, and disinformation. Great episode, number 66. 67 and 68 are coming out soon. Then we'll get in the 70s, which is, I think, where we stop finally and where we go into this period. Eventually, I stopped counting. I don't even know where we're at in the count anymore. So let's get to it. So the reason I named this The End of Everything is because with AI taking over everything in Hollywood, which is my job's out the window, any job that I would have had, with nostalgia being king, like we've got a lot of things coming back. Not a lot of new things, but a lot of old things. And it's like people are so dissatisfied with what's going on now and what fare we have that they want to go to the past. I mean, I heard the Romeo and Michelle high school reunion got a sequel. Like, they're giving sequels to everything, guys. And they're banking on nostalgia. They're banking on you caring about what used to be. The thing about that is, in terms of the AI of it all, they could eventually, and we'll get to this soon because it's part of the episode, they will eventually be able to have a movie with a star who could be alive or dead, we don't know, in an AI form, and they don't even have to be there. And that's kind of what I was worried about in the SAG contract, which I brought up in an earlier episode, which is why I didn't vote on the contract recently. That it's just going the way of AI. It's not going human. And there will be synthetic performers and digital replicas, and it's a whole big mess. It's a whole big mess. It's not something we should be happy about. But I do want to just, before we get into that aspect of things, we do have some news with the Iran war, which was over and now is not. So it's kind of like back and forth lately. It says here on our good old friend Times of Israel's website, they keep it real. You know what? I appreciate Jewish media who keep it real sometimes, or like have something bad to say about their fearless leader, who should be the one in harm's way as well as ours, but whatever. So Bibi's keeping the war going, basically, we already know, or Benjamin Netanyahu. And Trump is paying lip service, saying that all these things are happening, and we don't know if it's actually true or not. He doesn't have a great track record with that. But it says here, U.S.-Iran wrap up indirect Doha talks as Trump touts progress towards denuclearization, which is totally going to happen. And it says the U.S. and Iran held indirect technical talks in Doha on Wednesday. That was today, which U.S. President Donald Trump described as very good, as American and Iranian officials said that the participants agreed to open a communication channel to ensure the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding are met, amid continued disagreements over its implementation. According to Iran, the sides agreed on a partial release of billions of dollars of frozen Iranian funds, we talked about this last time, through U.S. officials reportedly, though U.S. officials reportedly denied that such an understanding was reached. The effort came 2 weeks after the U.S. and Iran signed the MOU, which gave them 60 days to negotiate a final deal covering Iran's nuclear program. But talks on that final deal haven't really begun yet, largely due to disputes over the Strait of Hormuz and Israel's war with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and all the civilians as well. The indirect talks, mediated by Qatar and Pakistan, began on Tuesday night and continue Wednesday, an Iranian official said. They've had very good meetings, and we'll see, Trump told reporters before boarding the new Qatari-gifted Air Force One. The denuclearization of Iran is moving along well. And then they talk about Jared Kushner and his envoy, Steve Witkoff, being in Doha. They did not attend the technical meetings, according to a source with direct knowledge of the talks, who added that the meetings were structured as sessions between chief negotiators and specialists. The two top U.S. envoys instead met with the Qatari Prime Minister to lay the groundwork for the meetings, the source added. The U.S. negotiators were reportedly seeking to convince their Iranian counterparts at the ongoing indirect technical talks in Doha to forego plans to charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz, arguing that Tehran would be able to make more money by following through with nuclear colonization. I don't know why it's a colonization. I just heard it in my head. Concessions that it would be able to generate from such fees. According to two senior Iranian sources, a lot of Iran in here, which is kind of funny when you look at it like that this is from the Times of Israel. Again, they keep it real. What can I say? Iran is determined to win international recognition of its control over the waterway and ability to levy fees on ships entering or leaving the Gulf, even if it has to do so by force. Under this month's interim deal with the U.S. to end their 3-month conflict, Iran agreed to let ships pass through the strait for 60 days without charge, but it believes the wording of the agreement allows it to keep control of which ships may pass and which route they take through the narrow waterway. Iran is ready to impose its demands on the strait through force if there is no agreement by other countries to accept its terms, the officials added, saying Tehran would not back down even if it led to renewed and intensified confrontation with the U.S. In response to Iran's efforts to charge tolls in Hormuz after the 60-day period expires, the U.S. message to Iran was "Think bigger," a U.S. official told the Axios news site, claiming the sums, there's a lot of S's in here, isn't there? Just saying, Iran could generate from developing and selling oil after the U.S. lifts sanctions under the deal would be 100 times more valuable to them than using a gangster tactic to try and charge a toll. I was trying so hard not to say toil, but all right, cool. We are pushing them to think bigger about their potential in the context of a broader nuclear and regional non-intervention deal, the U.S. official said. We have reached an understanding that we will keep things quiet for the coming week, so progress on all aspects of the MOU can be worked on in a productive environment without missiles flying, the official said. The president has been clear that every time they shoot, we will shoot more, and at targets that further degrade their position in the strait. This is a really long article, huh? Let's skip some of it. More Iranian shit. Okay, let's get to the Vance of it all. Touting Washington's position in the talks, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance told, and next logical president, probably going to be the next president, let's be honest, told troops while visiting a naval air base in Virginia on Wednesday that Trump is now negotiating from a position of strength because of you. If the Iranians try to rebuild the nuclear program, the president's got options. If the Iranians try to threaten their neighbors or fund terrorism, we've got options, he said. But what we must never do is drop bombs just for the sake of dropping bombs, and that is what the president will never ask you to do. No, he won't, but Bibi might. He'll ask you to go to war, yes, even though he said he would never do that, but okay. But when he asks you to go to war, he'll tell you exactly what you're going for. Oh, that makes it better. And I think that is what you should expect out of your political leadership. Lies. What I noticed about the people who are attacking the administration for negotiating is that they are the very same people who, for example, encouraged us to just go a little bit further and just drop a few more bombs in places like Afghanistan. Yeah, you're all horrible. If you go back to the mistakes that were made, those very same people refused to say that we were dropping bombs for, he continued. Despite his assertions, the Trump administration has come under fire for what critics say have been unclear goals in the Iran war. The administration has asserted that it launched the war primarily to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, even though the president has also claimed to have completely destroyed Iran's nuclear program in strikes a year ago. Israel had no part in negotiating the Memorandum of Understanding, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has distanced himself from it. Still, the terms of the opening clause, permanently ending the war and ruling out any resumption, assert that it is binding on the U.S., Iran, and their allies. Israeli officials are bitterly opposed to the deal's terms, which resolve none of the war's key goals, notably eliminating Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs and creating the conditions for the collapse of the regime. You know what you could do is just like make it so that every country doesn't have nuclear weapons, and then there's no problem. No deterrence, just no nukes. Would be nice, but can't say that because it doesn't make any sense to the war profiteers, I guess. Anywho, that's that. There's the update with Iran. And now we go to the end of everything in terms of humanity. I think I wanted to say another thing about that before we get to this article, is that physical media is so important, and we're going to lose that. That's another byproduct of the end of everything, the end of fact checks, really, the end of having concrete evidence of things. Like things can just be taken away immediately. Like that's horrible to think. Like there's so many cyber um, ransomware situations and like breaches and stuff. There's going to be more of that. Biometric data being used by everyone, like airports and stuff, not going to be good for humans at all. And then, the only ones who won't be fucking surveilled are the robots because they're doing the surveilling. So isn't that convenient? I'm just saying, anyways. Um, yeah, your overlords are going to be the fucking serve robotics, delivery bots. Rise of machines, man. Tell ya. Okay, so let's get to this topic. So this is from Variety. This is regarding something that very much upsets me, but not surprises me because A24 or AI24 has been kind of declining in quality a little bit in certain areas. In the last few years, it got really big for its britches and had some funding and then, made some choices. And now here we are. So this is one of the articles that I wanted to highlight today. This is from before, but it's still relevant. June 22nd, 2026, from Corbin Bullies. I didn't say who did the last one. I might as well do it. Jacob Majid. And that was from today. So that was pretty new news with Iran. Okay. So A24, what the fuck? Anyway, Google invests $75 million in A24 to develop AI-powered filmmaking tools. I'm going to check something over here real quick. I have to go to Brave to do it. Shout out to Startpage, which sucks ass. Not a good shout out. Startpage, you suck ass as a search engine. I have to endure a CAPTCHA. I'm a human. See, again, the end of everything. I'm just saying, I can barely do a fucking search anymore without AI results, AI assisting in some way that I never asked for, or having to fill out a human challenge. No, I'm not going to do that. Fuck off. Goodness. Let me see if I can find this by putting in the keywords. A24. This would be a comment. I'm going to try and find this the old-fashioned way. Google. Let me see what I find here. Here we go. Got him. All right, so we're going to do this next. That's our next article. We're just leaving it over there and we're coming back to it. All right, back over here. So, as I said, Google invests $75 million in A24 to develop AI-powered filmmaking tools. A24 and Google have struck an AI research partnership that will see the independent studio work with Google's DeepMind, unit to develop new AI-powered technologies for filmmakers. Google's roughly $75 million investment is tied to the partnership and is in line with what Thrive Capital invested during the studio's last funding round, according to Wall Street Journal. The partnership will give A24 access to DeepMind's research and infrastructure, while DeepMind researchers will work with the studio to build out new workflows. The deal does not give Google access to A24's content library or its data. No, they already have that from you, but okay. The deal represents the latest marriage between a Hollywood studio and AI in an era where companies have oscillated between partnerships and lawsuits. Disney's short-lived deal with OpenAI to license its suite of characters came as it sued AI's companies like Minimax and Midjourney for copyright infringement. That was a little weird. While Lionsgate expanded its partnership with the AI firm Runway AI, I haven't forgotten y'all ass, Lionsgate, fuck off, to develop new intellectual property and produce AI-generated shows, no thank you, drawing from its existing franchises. Netflix also purchased Ben Affleck's AI startup Interpositive, aimed at building tools for filmmakers earlier this year. That's how they couch this, with these words like tools. Like, it's just a tool. tool. You're a tool. It's a tool until it takes over. Then it's not a tool. AI again. God damn it. A24 partner Scott Belsky, who leads the studio's technology division A24 Labs, told the Journal the studio's Google partnership derived from other deals because AI developers mistakenly advertise their products as a means to make films cheaper and faster. His division is developing applications for AI-generated storyboards. There go the storyboard artists. Another, by the way, I say that as someone who's actually employed a storyboard artist, and he was really good. Back in the day, I've gotten a storyboarder. I believe so. Yeah. His name was Ricardo, I think. And then I had him do a poster, and I love that poster. It looks so good for one of my movies for class. Yeah, those are professions that are dying out like every other profession, but don't worry, it's just a tool. Another reimagination of the production process that has seen filmmakers like Martin Scorsese rubber stamp. I haven't forgotten your ass, Martin Scorsese. What the fuck, bro? Absolute not cinema, man. What the fuck are you doing, asshole? Gosh, they all want no careers. It doesn't matter to them. They're all old. They don't care about the new world. Anyway, we think there are better uses that preserve creative control and support risk-taking, he told the journal, arguing the new tools won't look anything like the prompted generation type of AI that people feel uncomfortable with. How about I'm uncomfortable with all of it? We believe breakthroughs happen when you get technology into the hands of the best minds in the field, Eli Collins, a vice president of product for DeepMind, told the journal. A24 has been a landing pad for many emerging filmmakers. With the critical and commercial success of its roster of films, not all of them are good, by the way, Lady Bird, Moonlight, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Marty Supreme, definitely not good. I will stand by that. That is not a good movie. Whatever. Anyway, the recent box office winner, Backrooms, which I haven't seen yet, but I'll watch very soon, owed to its trust placed in the filmmakers it's enlisted and the fervent, largely young fan base it has amassed. Roughly 85% of those who saw Backrooms during its opening weekend were under 35, according to post-track data. The agreement comes as roughly half of adults under 30 believe AI will harm society. I was about to say, according to a Pew Research study published last week. This is the demographic you want, and you're gonna fucking get rid of them because they don't want this shit. But you don't care. You just don't care. And that's the problem. Here we go. Here's their stupid statement. This is from June 26th, a few days later. Also written by Corbin Bowles. A24 explains why AI deal with Google exists. We'd rather have a seat at the table than on the sidelines. You'd rather make money. It's all about money. Just say it's about money. Like, be honest at least, you know? A24 explained its research partnership with Google's DeepMind unit as a bid to have a seat at the table in Hollywood's reckoning with AI after fans pelted the independent studio with criticism for embracing the technology. Also, let me just say, let me see if I can find this. Yep. All right. Let's look at it. Independent. Ew, gross. I hate non-doc mode. 13-year-old studio. Let's just get a little information here. Here's the history. This all started with Daniel Katz, David Finkel, and John Hodges founding A24 in 2012. Finkel was the president and partner at Oscilloscope Laboratories, and Hodges was head of production and development at Big Beach Films. The name A24 was inspired by the Italian Autostrada A24 motorway on which Katz was driving when he decided to found the company. Guggenheim Partners provided the seed money for A24. Let's look at them. Independent studio, guys. I just got to tell you the truth. I don't sugarcoat anything. Whoops. Hold on, let me go over here. Guggenheim Partners Incorporated is an American global investment and advisory financial services firm headquartered in New York City that engages in investment banking, asset management, capital markets services, and insurance services. The firm has additional offices in Chicago, London, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. It facilitates deals in many financial and industrial sectors. The firm's CEO is Mark Walter. It was founded in 1999 in partnership with the Guggenheim family. The Guggenheim family. It has more than $330 billion of assets under management. Okay, and then y'all can just go. That's from the website talking about them. Oh, look at this. In October 2009, Guggenheim hired former JP Morgan head of media investment banking Mark Van Lith as senior managing director and head of investment banking, and former Apollo Global management director and vice chairman Henry Silverman as vice chairman of asset management. Good people. We got Barclays in here. We got Goldman Sachs. All the best people. Very independent. Here's a good one. In September 2013, Guggenheim Securities was named a financial advisor to Verizon. We love them. In connection with its $130 billion acquisition of Vodafone's 45% stake in Verizon Wireless. They're the ones who bought out my prepaid wireless company back in the day. Straight talk. Not anymore. Okay, there's even more information. Ooh, IBM. You know, the ones who assisted in the Holocaust and in that time. That's fun. There's just so many things. Like, this is a fucking investment firm. Gilead Sciences, which we've talked about in the past, which is connected to Donald Rumsfeld. He had a stake in it. Crazy. Again, A24, seed money from an investment firm. Let's continue. Here we go. On March 26, 2018, co-founder John Hodges announced that he was exiting the company. According to A24 founder John Hodges, to part ways with the company from Deadline. On November 15, 2018, A24 and Apple announced a multi-year partnership. So this is not new that they work with the tech companies. The tech companies own us at this point. They own everybody. The end of everything. This wasn't even real. Like, when you look at all of this information, you know that none of it was independent from the get-go. I never believed A24 was independent. But I do like some of the films. I'm not going to lie. The drama was a banger this year. But, like, I know what's true and what's not. And not everybody does their research, is all I'm saying. Here we go. Where A24 would produce a slate of original films for Apple. This was not a first-look deal, meaning A24 could continue to produce and require films to release outside of the deal, and that it would not affect previous deals that A24 had signed with other companies. They would later release Sofia Coppola's On the Rocks and Joel Coen's The Tragedy of Macbeth, both of which received limited theatrical releases by A24 and then became available to stream on Apple TV. Then they entered into a deal in 2019 with Showtime Networks, which still exists apparently, covering all film releases through November 1st, 2022. Then, in July 2021, they explored a possible buyout from multiple suitors for, I love the language here, like it's a relationship. This is from the article, Indie Film and TV Studio A24 explored sale with $3 billion asking price, from Variety. between 2.5 billion and 3 billion. Also in 2021, the movie Minari earned a record of 6 Oscar nominations. Do you guys remember that movie? I barely remember. I remember the chicks, which was very sad. The chicks scene. That's all I can really remember. I think there was a flower at some point. That movie is not very memorable. I'm just saying. Vladimir, that's not right. Valdemar Johansson's Lamb was selected as the country's entry for the Academy Award for Best International Feature Film. This is all connected because, like, there's so much money and studio money in this studio, this small studio, that of course is going to get Oscar nominations because that's what they want to happen. That's why A24 is constantly nominated for an Oscar. It's all fucking bullshit, bro. Okay. Then we got, in January 2022, former HBO and Amazon MGM Studios. Remember when Amazon bought out MGM? I do. TV executive Nick Hall joined A24 to oversee creative for the company's growing television slate. In April 2022, the company launched its subscription-based membership program, AAA24. Membership benefits include free movie tickets, early access to merch drops, exclusive merch only available to members, discounts on merch, monthly store credit, a quarterly zine, a free birthday gift, and other perks such as giveaways and movie screenings. This is from The Rise and Rise of A24 from The Economist, whom we love. The AAA 24 membership is a great gift idea for movie lovers. It'll pay for itself in no time through its many perks. Thanks, Polygon. Doing an ad. Love that. In March 2023, A24 became the first independent studio to win Best Picture, Best Director, and all 4 acting categories in a single year at the 95th Academy Awards for Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Whale. A24's Close, After Sun, Causeway, and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On all received nominations that year. That same month, the company bought distribution rights to 2 older films released before the company's inception. Starting with Pi, by the way, Pi is probably one of Aronofsky's best films, and Stop Making Sense from Jonathan Demme. Both of which are remastered versions. I don't fuck with remastered stuff, but okay. That's another thing. End of everything. End of the original thing that you wanted to see. Oh my gosh, I wanted to say this before. I just remembered the thing I was going to say. I'm watching old Twilight Zone episodes, and they're so crispy clear, and I hate it. And I want to see what it looked like back in the day, and you can't anymore. It sucks. Unless you bought it on DVD or whatever, you're screwed. All right, there's more stuff here. Then they're going to do more commercial films, they say, in 2023, including action and big IP projects. So now they're trying to get bigger because they don't want to be indie anymore. Indie is not fun. So they want to break into the prime time. Then, in association with Prime Video and Fox Entertainment's Bento Box Entertainment, A24 launched its first animated project, the adult musical comedy series Has-Been Hotel. The 8-episode first season premiered on January 19th, 2024 on Prime Video. It received a 2-season order. Has-Been Hotel animated series from A24 and Bento Box lands at Amazon deadline. Then we got the trailer. Then we got the comedy falters and jump from YouTube pilot to full-fledged series in variety there. Here we go. In June 2024, A24 raised $75 million from Thrive Capital. And now they've raised that money and they've given it to Google. Crazy. Let's skip to that. In June 2026, following the success of Backrooms, Google announced an investment of approximately $75 million in A24. Sorry, Google invested that much money. I apologize. To further develop artificial intelligence tools for filmmaking. Notably, the deal does not grant Google access to their content library. Under the deal, they will work with Google's DeepMind laboratory to develop new AI-powered workflows. Okay, so that's just a way more information than you asked for, but here you go. You get it anyway. I give the people what they want, and what they don't know they want, but they will want it eventually. Okay. Here it says, this is a research partnership. A24 communications rep Sophia Shin said about the deal in a statement first reported by Wired. We're working side by side with DeepMind's researchers to learn, iterate, and build, having an active hand in shaping new tools and workflows. Our relationship with our audience is something we don't take for granted. This partnership exists because we want to dictate what tools get built for artists, and so they have a voice in shaping them rather than having tools handed to them. We'd rather have a seat at the table than on the sidelines. The partnership, which the studio and Google unveiled on Monday, will give A24 and its tech arm, A24 Labs, access to their research and infrastructure, like they said. What the hell is up with the AI collaboration? Do you know your fan base? One Instagram comment read on a post advertising the upcoming A24 film, The Debut, while another X user wrote that the deal exhibited rancid behavior. The controversial deal represents the latest marriage between a Hollywood studio and AI, and then it says all the stuff it said before. A little bit more. What does this say? Okay. And then some stuff from the filmmakers. Okay, so basically, that's what's happening. What's happened before this, and I've seen it, and it's annoying, is AI posters. I don't know if you noticed that, but they suck. They suck so much. And I don't know if there is AI or not, but it seems like it in the Scary Movie poster from this year, but who knows. But I just wanted to show this video and see what this guy says, because this says how A24 replaced artists with AI. And I don't know what this is regarding, but it's A24 related, so we're going to check it out. I think this is saying that there's AI in the video. And it says, to promote their latest film, Civil War, so A24, AI24 now, posted several AI-generated movie posters on Instagram. Is this the beginning of the end for movie poster design? I think so, but let's check it out.
Movie posters. Compelling, tantalizing works of art. Exciting, vibrant, wild images from the heart. But what about movie posters made with AI? So about 2 weeks ago, I decided to catch a Sunday matinee showing of Alex Garland's new film, Civil War.
By the way, I've seen this movie. I don't remember much of it, but it's a movie. I did not enjoy most of it. I think I did enjoy Jesse, because I always enjoy Jesse Plemons, but he was interesting in it. I thought he was one of the more captivating parts of it, but everything else is just like, I don't know. Paper and Light did this video, so copyright to him. All the love to him and them. I don't know if it's more than one person, but thank you for the video, and I won't watch all of it.
Very excited about this title. I had been for months, and whenever I know I'm going to see a film, I try not to see any of the trailers, avoid any...
Okay, so let's skip, because copyright. I actually respect people and their copyright problems. And he already probably had some copyright problems himself, so let's see what he says here.
Contain AI-generated movie posters. This was extremely surprising, especially coming from A24, the most artist-driven, indie film-friendly production studio out there. If this image represents the major film studios, then this image is A24. They got kicked out of art college, stole kale chips from Costco. In short, A24 would not, could not, should not use AI. And yet they did. For an Alex Garland film, no less. 10 years ago, he wrote and directed Ex Machina, a film that deals with AI and the potential calamity it's going to bring on humanity. A lot of people believe...
I know! That's the crazy thing, is like, was that predictive programming? Or did you actually give a shit? You know? Did you give a shit? This is from 2 years ago, by the way. I found this. I looked up A24 and AI and I got this from 2 years ago.
believe that total AI usage is an unstoppable inevitability.
It's in your nature to destroy yourselves.
Major drag, huh?
So, A24 releases these promos with the single comment, America the Beautiful. The images don't contain any actual scenes from the film, and the fact that they're AI generated is actually pretty easy to spot. The geography of this image makes no sense to anyone who's actually been to Chicago. Cars don't usually have 3 doors on one side, and this swan is swole as huge, enormous swan. The comments roll in, and they are largely negative. Hire an actual artist. Absolutely disgusting. Fire the person who approved this garbage. Various unions and guilds within the film industry went on strike for this very issue, the use of AI in their...
And then they decided to just roll over and let the companies take over everything. The end of everything.
industry. So it's a little bizarre for a major artist-friendly film studio to do this. Various articles come out about the posters along with some tomfoolery in a Netflix documentary, but who cares about that? It's Netflix. From the studio that brought you Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver, Netflix. No one cares. But we're talking about A24, the film studio that brought you Moonlight, Hereditary, and EEAAO. They shouldn't have done this. No. Was it a joke? Some sort of commentary? According to the article in The Hollywood Reporter, a source close to the movie said the images help imagine the nationwide impact of the film's fictional war. These are AI images inspired by the movie. The entire movie is a big what if, and so we wanted to continue that thought on social. Powerful imagery of iconic landmarks with that dystopian realism. So I'm sure A24 has learned by now that
we're gonna use a dystopian reality to show you dystopian reality. It's Inception, man.
Powerful imagery and AI generated don't really go together. Most people consider it to be low effort, low quality work. If you're not up on your AI image generators, it's incredibly easy to make a poster like this. To demonstrate, I'm going to create a poster for A24's inevitable sequel, Civil War II: Conflict in Canada. Little did they know, the real fighting was happening up north.
Let's skip to that. Final product. Do-do-do-do-do. I'm not watching all your content. Okay. Hold on, let me scooch it. Pearl was great too.
Makes you cry, you're also right.
His hair gone. He clung to the walls where his stars still seemed to linger, but time peeled away and the memories they fade.
It's so soulless. It's so fucking soulless.
If you think that A24 should have hired a real artist for these images, tell them. If you think the real artists that A24 hired to make movie posters in the past were great, tell them. If you think that some of their movie posters are a little weird, tell them. Critique it all. We're surrounded by design decisions and they're not all good. That's what I'm trying to do with this channel anyway. Critique every movie poster. Celebrate the triumphs and call out.
Okay, so he does that for a living. Okay, let me go back to this because we skipped it. Let's see the final product. Oh.
Giant Canada goose in the style of a modern movie poster. Oh, okay, there it is. I think we've got it. Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna put the text on here. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so let's upload this to Instagram and wait for the hate. So we know that AI tools are easy and fast, which means movie studios are going to want to use them more and more. Also, AI image generation is baked into a lot of editing software now. When I make my thumbnails for YouTube, I often have to take text off of movie posters. I've been using Photoshop for years so I can mask and clone tool my way through it pretty well, but now there's an AI tool that can generate an image automatically, and the result is often better than what I was able to do manually. It is okay to be scared about this, particularly if you're an artist. But what is the answer? How do we prevail over AI artwork? In my opinion, the best tool we have is critique. When you see artwork or hear music, whether it's AI generated, made on a computer, or penciled in by hand on paper, critique it, assess its merits. Good art makes you feel. So does this? The amount of time it...
That's a good point, yeah. Okay, well, shout out to him again. Paper and Light, we love it. We love our independent creators and stuff, and we support humans doing human jobs. Unlike Michael Caine. Michael Caine. What the fuck? Michael Caine. Are you serious? Variety. Michael Caine's AI-generated voice, speaking of things that make you cry, June 23rd, 2026, to narrate the Odyssey audiobook ahead of the movie, which everybody's so excited about. Listen to the plane getting in on the action in the background. We're going to just ignore that a little bit. Sir Michael Caine. 11 Labs again. We talked about them in Rise of the Machines. Go watch that episode. Watch it. Go listen to that episode when you get the chance. When you're stuck in your car in traffic or whatever, go listen to it. It's telling you a lot about the future. I'm good at reading it. I'm just reading the articles. I'm not Nostradamus. The sprawling nature of Homer's epic Odyssey poem makes it understandable why a Hollywood studio would shell out hundreds of millions of dollars to bring it to life on the screen. But in 11 Labs, remember that's McConaughey's outfit. He's invested in it. AI audiobook version, all it requires is 4 producers, several AI tools, and a replica voice of Christopher Nolan's stalwart, Michael Caine. The AI studio firm is using Caine's voice to anchor a new, roughly 13-hour version of The Odyssey weeks before Nolan's upcoming film hits theaters. This is a topic that I can also relate to because I'm actually, fun fact, I would frequent Fiverr back in the day. Remember that? And I would see if people needed a task done, or it was something similar to Fiverr. I can't remember if it was exactly that. And one dude was in need of an audiobook because he can't read other than in Braille, obviously, because he's blind. So a blind man needed, or someone who catered to blind people, I'm not really sure. I can't remember exactly if it was the gentleman or if it was for a specific person or anything. But they needed a blind version of a book. So the only way to do that is an audiobook. So they needed someone to read a book to them and give it to them, and they would pay them, I can't remember what I got paid. It was a ridiculously small amount. $5 a page or something. I don't remember. That sounds ridiculous. Actually, I don't know if it was that much. It might have been, was it $50? I don't remember how much I got paid, but it wasn't enough. All I know is it wasn't enough because the shit I dealt with reading that audiobook, voicing that, and sending it, it was a trouble. I had some troubles. I had some voice problems. So yes, I see, and it was Clown Girl, if you're wondering which book it was. Clown Girl, which also got optioned for a movie, never happened. Kristen Wiig owns it or whatever. She's supposed to play the girl in the movie. Anyway, I read the whole fucking thing. Luckily, it was a decent book. Like, if it was not a good book, that would have been way worse for me. But I wanted to help out, and they didn't have a lot of money to offer, and I wanted to help out. So it was a good deed or whatever, and it was a good experience to see what that was like doing an audiobook. So I can say I can use myself as an example of somebody who's actually done this and can speak on it. I can speak on it from that point of view. And I say, with all due respect, it's a difficult job, but human is always going to be better than AI. And people will like the human version more than AI. We'll find that out soon if that's true, but there's got to be a way. Like, the intonation is not going to be the same with this fake Michael Caine. I'm just saying. We have to move on because I'm already taking way too much time. So let's wrap it up soon, but let's get to the end of everything. Keep going through it. Let's skip to this part. You probably read that part before. Anyway. Our version of it is another retelling of it that we think is really strong. It does justice. Dustin Blank, 11 Labs head of partnerships, told Variety in a recent interview. It has a cast of 20 characters, all from our voice library, and Michael Caine is a legend. He is a national treasure, and his voice means so much to so many people, and we thought that he, as the narrator, would be the perfect person to help tell this story for his part in it, and I think he does. But he doesn't, because it's his voice, but it's not him. So, no. Caine's affiliation with 11 Labs isn't new, as the Oscar winner licensed his voice and likeness last year to the firm's iconic marketplace. It's collection of characters that companies can pay to use for commercial purposes. But this partnership expands the arrangement once Blank said is rooted in consent and compensation. That's how they get you. You just get so much money and you don't have to do anything. 11 Labs pays creators every time their voices are used in 11 Reader, and in Caine's case, he was specifically consulted about the project and approved the marketing materials, Blank said. Whether he's heard the final project, however, couldn't be determined. The Odyssey is one of the greatest stories ever told, yet I've never read it, but all right. For nearly 3 millennia, its themes of perseverance, loyalty, temptation, and the enduring call of home have resonated across cultures and generations, Kane said in a statement. By bridging classical storytelling with digital innovation, this timeless epic is reimagined for modern audiences, brought vividly to life through 11 readers' cutting edge technology. It was a pleasure to be a part of 11 Productions' retelling of the Odyssey. That seems like that was AI generated, but all right. And then they talk about other projects. But yeah, it's just a whole big mess. Stan Lee also gave his voice, which I wasn't surprised about because there was a game or something, this AR thing, not AR, VR, when they were doing VR. I went to a thing, like a party thing, Hollywood-wise, and like a networking thing, and they had this, like, what was it called? It's like a VR kind of, oh my gosh, you put the thing on, I forgot what it's called. Goggles, not goggles, goodness, I forgot what it was called, but you put the thing on and then you can see stuff. There's a word for it, but anyway, VR, and Stan Lee was in it, but he wasn't in it, but he gave his voiceover. So I could see that I could see how his family would give his voiceover after his death and whatnot. Okay, then we got CNBC here, OpenAI, just in other AI news. OpenAI unveils first chip as part of a Broadcom deal in effort to build the full stack. This is from June 24, 2026. 8 months after announcing a custom chip deal, OpenAI and Broadcom are revealing their first joint project, Jalapeno. The companies are calling it an intelligence processor and describe it as the first AI accelerator in a platform they're building to make advanced AI faster, more reliable, and more accessible to more people. In October, after 18 months spent working together, OpenAI and Broadcom went public with plans to develop and deploy racks of OpenAI designed chips starting late this year. Then we got this little article. AI is going to create a labor shortage. No shit, fucking Sherlock. Jeff Bezos flips the AI narrative on its head, states, I know there's a lot of concern that many people have. This is from June 18th. He says AI is a force of good, so we should believe him. He's never lied about anything to us before. Jeff Bezos says AI is a force for good rather than a threat. The technology will expand the human labor market and create more demand. Bezos' comments go against the narrative of other prominent voices in AI. But we should believe him and his space rocket problems. You know, you can't get a spaceship in the air, but I believe him on this. Oh, great, another rocket. Yeah, this is the rocket thing that I was talking about. We're going to the moon to stay, not just to visit, he said, adding that establishing a permanent human base on the moon would assist in further exploration. I need explanation. Bezos' space travel company, Blue Origin, was also a subject of discussion after this company's New Glenn rocket exploded during a ground test at Cape Canaveral in Florida in May. It cost a lot of money, too. The incident resulted in no injuries, and Blue Origin chief executive Dave Lemp added that the launch site will be repaired and ready to resume operation before the end of the year. Yay! Let's do another thing. Well, what are we talking about here? A movie about AI. How's that going to go? Let's find out. What we know about the future of Amazon's dropped Sam Altman film biopic. So this is about Sam Altman and OpenAI, and Amazon dropped it. They backed out of the deal to distribute a biopic about Altman, and said it would be better served if it were released by a different studio, and sent the movie by Oscar-winning director Luca Guadagnino. I tried. Guadagnino? Whatever. That dude who made the bad Suspiria. Scrambling to find a new home. No. And then IndieWire. This is the news on that. Luca Guadagnino's Sam Altman movie, Artificial, picked up by Neon after being dropped by Amazon MGM. The film, starring Andrew Garfield, is nearly complete and was set to be released next year, but was nixed after Amazon struck a $50 billion deal with Altman's OpenAI, which is quite a conflict of interests. And then it says, after reports earlier today that Neon was reportedly circling a deal to acquire the U.S. rights to Artificial, the new film from director Guadagnino that tells the story of OpenAI founder Sam Altman, hopefully warts and all, the shingle has confirmed the purchase. Puck co-founder and reporter Matt Belloni first reported the news. Look at him. The nearly completed film stars Andrew Garfield as Altman and had long been set up at Amazon MGM Studios for a planned release in early 2027. So, it was written by SNL writer Simon Rich and follows a fictionalized version of the period of turmoil at OpenAI in which in 2023 Altman was fired and removed by the board of directors of the company in a move orchestrated by OpenAI co-founder Ilya Suckass. That's what I'm going to call him. Oh my gosh, Yura Borzov plays him? Oh, okay. Only for him to return as CEO. The film also stars Monica Barbaro as OpenAI's CTO Mira Murati, Mark Rylance, haven't seen him in a while, as AI pioneer Jeffrey Hinton, and Ike Barinholtz as Elon Musk? I don't want to be mean, but no. That casting makes no fucking sense. If you know Ike, and I know Ike for a long time, since Mad TV, and Elon? That's some weird casting, bro. Challengers suck, by the way. Anyway, let's move on. Next story of the end of the world. This is from Eyewitness News, which is having a time in LA, ABC 7. So there's a fire here that was kind of important in terms of like big companies and stuff. The Lineage cold storage warehouse fire in Boyle Heights that burned for more than a week has been officially declared knocked down, according to the LAFD. The inferno began shortly before 2:30 p.m. on June 17th at the facility located in the 1400 block of South Los Palos Street. A knockdown was declared just before 6 p.m. on June 24th. Air quality concerns persist for large swaths of LA, but the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and South Coast Air Quality Management District have not detected anything beyond normal combustible material, typical after a fire, a LAFD spokesman said. And they always tell the truth, just like our wonderful leaders. All right, let's get a little more information about this.
Breaking news.
And that breaking news is happening in Boyle Heights, where the Lineage warehouse fire continues to burn and residents waiting in long lines desperate for help.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Harvey.
And I'm Rudabe Shabazzi.
And here's the latest at 5 o'clock. No containment on the fire that has been burning since last Wednesday. LAFD Chief Jamie Moore says they hope to extinguish the fire by tomorrow and turn the building back over to Lineage by Friday. The AQMD has extended the particle pollution advisory until 12:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Our team coverage begins tonight with CBS LA's Jeff Nguyen live in Commerce, where residents have been waiting for hours.
We're not going to hear like their reports or anything. I'm just giving you like an overview of what went on. And maybe we'll get this update over here in the corner as well. Let me see. Here's the update from 7 days ago.
For days at a warehouse, let's listen in.
The roof is still intact to this fire. It's resting on these storage racks that go all the way from the floor, all the way to the ceiling, that are 600 feet long in this building. So what we're doing now, and what we're continuing to do, and what we're seeing great progress on to get final extinguishment of this fire, is that we're using those large volumes of water from the exterior of the building. So we peeled back the sides of these buildings. The building behind us here, it's 250,000 square feet. It was essentially involved in fire. The whole building's 500,000 square feet. So half of this building has been peeled back. We're taking those water cannons, which you can see behind us here, those water that are going all the way into the building. We are taking those, and we're getting water to the center of the building. We had to use a public-private partnership to get this resource here, and we're able to get these resources. It actually came all the way from Texas to put this fire out, because these are typically fire apparatus that are used for oil well refineries or something that you need to stay far away to get water in. This building's very unique. It's not something that we've dealt with in LA City before. It's a very challenging fire. So using this tactic here by squirting water from the outside all the way in is going to put out the remaining fire, and it's going to fully extinguish it so we can get it turned over to the business owner for remediation. One of the unique things on this fire is we're doing two things simultaneously. So again, I talked about the public-private partnership. The remediation process with the building occupant and the building owner, they are embedded in our incident command system, and that remediation process has already started while we are still looking to put out the remaining hotspots. What they are going to do is there's over 85 million pounds of food in this warehouse, and some of it is burned and some of it is spoiled, and that's going to continue to happen. They're going to take all of those materials out, they're going to remediate them, and they're going to get them to the appropriate facilities like a landfill or wherever they deem necessary. That's the contractors that are going to do that. We are going to maintain a presence on scene. The LAFD is going to be here. If they uncover any remaining smoldering items, we're going to put that fire out before it goes to the landfill. So
Isn't that great? Just more food in the landfill, more wasted product. Love that. Here's how this all went down.
Back to our developing news out of Boyle Heights. A week after a fire broke out at a cold storage warehouse, the LAFD hoping to have it fully extinguished today. KTLA's Carlos Herrera live in Boyle Heights with that new goal. Carlos, good morning.
Frank, good morning. The 24/7 firefight continuing here this morning. You see it far in the distance there with those water cannons just pumping that water onto this massive building. Some encouraging updates, as you mentioned, from officials here this morning. It appears that things are looking pretty good, and that target of full extinguishment today is going to happen. That's according to officials here. Obviously, this could...
And it did. Okay, let me try and find... I'm going to just go click on this. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Right now, crews are racing to haul away the estimated 85 million pounds of frozen food that's rotting after the Boyle Heights warehouse fire, as some residents face a new hardship, costing them lots of money.
Well, the CBS LA team is covering the new angles of the story tonight, beginning with Luz Delia Caballero. She is live with neighbors who are desperate for relief. Luz Delia.
They're desperate for relief, they're desperate for air purifiers, and they're desperate for the smell to go away. Right now, we can definitely smell a potent odor. It's very, very awful. As the closer you get to the building, we can see work being done to continue and further advance those cleanup efforts. We also want to show you this, and this is what people are smelling, is the food that is rotting. These are pig's feet right here. And what they're trying to do here to mitigate the odor is spraying this out into the air. But obviously, those who live here say that isn't enough.
Yeah, it's nasty.
For families like Cecilia Cruz's living near the Lineage Logistics warehouse, it's not just the overpowering smell they say they're dealing with.
We have seen a lot of rats literally coming out of the sewers, out of the drainage. You go drive by and there's literally rats on the street that are run over.
As crews continue hauling away millions of pounds of spoiled food from the nearly 500,000 square foot warehouse, people here say they're trying to hold onto a sense of normalcy while living beside an ongoing cleanup. And that need for relief brought people together Tuesday in Boyle Heights. In partnership with Puente Learning Center, Breathe Southern California distributed free air purifiers to families hoping for at least one layer of protection inside their homes.
I cannot open my window because the air is so bad.
Lo necesitas.
Sí, lo necesitamos.
You guys need it.
For many, the purifier represents more than a machine. It's peace of mind.
Now my two littles are starting to cough, and we need one for our room.
Cruz says it's a way to sleep a little easier and worry a little less about what's circulating inside their home.
They are really expensive. They're like $120, I want to say. And I mean, we don't have $120 to spare with two little ones and my grandma too.
Organizers say the goal is simple: help residents reduce exposure while the massive cleanup continues outside.
We were able to procure 3,000 air purifiers that we've committed to the Boyle Heights community, and we've distributed in 2 days approximately almost 800 air purifiers.
LA Mayor Bass has ordered that all biohazardous food waste be removed within the next 45 days. But until then, neighbors say they're counting the days, hoping the smell fades, hoping the rats disappear, and hoping something as simple as cleaner air inside their homes can help them make it through until the cleanup is finally complete.
We feel very grateful for the community that we're in.
Gratitude, that's what we continue hearing time and time again. But obviously, rotting food equals very, very potent smells coming out of this warehouse and permeating throughout the community. Many families having to keep their windows closed, their doors closed, and that's why these air purifiers are so essential. A big shout out to Breathe SoCal for handing these out yesterday and today, and that effort continues. And they even gave me one to give to my family members who live in Boyle Heights. So shout out to my tia Rosie and my primita Angelica. They were telling me that they need these air purifiers. They both have asthma, and this is what people here in the community are feeling each and every day. And of course, they just want this to be over as soon as possible. Reporting live in Boyle Heights, Luz Delia Caballero, CBS LA.
Well, thanks so much, Luz Delia. Sometimes there's something new every day.
It's always something in LA, guys. What can I tell you? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. We'll go ahead and give you an update. Fuck it. To end the episode, which was supposed to be an hour, but here we go. Here is the latest in the Lively v. Wayfarer shitstorm that we are in now. I don't even know how to explain this. I'm going to let Docket Updates explain this to you, because I cannot. Hold on. All right. So there was the whole thing with the fee motion. I talked about in that video that I highlighted before, which is like VV Wayfair Final Memorandum and Opinion, RE, the section 47.1 reading. So I read the whole damn thing, that whole order. So here's what happened. This bitch is crazy. That's basically what happened. So Lively is asking for $8,035,040.88 in attorney fees and costs to defend the defamation claim, when NYT asked for approximately $180K for a reasonable comparison. So she has come out and said, you know what? Or her lawyers have. We are owed this much for fighting the defamation claim, but also, and defending ourselves, but also all this other shit with our stuff, our whole case, basically, which is not right. And then they submitted this as their proof, which is interesting. It's not we don't have any invoices, sadly, but we do have peer firm data, so that's fun. So this is what the lawyers get paid from Manat and Wilkie Farr. And then, what else? The other part. Let me go back. We have declarations. We have the peer standard rates here. We're supposed to have like a whole spreadsheet, but I don't know where that is. Hold on, let me see if I can find it over here. Peer firm data, financial insights. Let me look at that. No, that is definitely not what I wanted. Oh, maybe it is. Actually, this is it, yeah. This is all we got in terms of like calculations. No, this is not what I wanted. There's something else. I forgot what it's called though. Let me see if I can find it. Huh. Oh. Where is this shit? I don't remember. I know we have declarations. That's not what we want though. I could swear I've really looked at this data before, but I don't know where it is. Okay, that's Michael Gottlieb. It was Ezra and Michael Gottlieb who supplied this information. All right, I'm going to try combined. I think that might be what this is. It's very vague. Because they really combined all the different claims together. Yeah, 162 pages. That's how long it was. And this is going over all the fees that are owed. But it is not just her defense of the defamation claim, because you look at this, and yeah, everything's until work date is 1/24, blah, blah, blah. Then that goes all the way down to June. We're getting there soon. June, which was the end of the case, because then it was dismissed for the litigation privilege, his case, and then it continues. Attention to motion for fees and sanctions, review BL 47.1 motion, revise. Okay, so we got 47.1 there. Then we have the Rule 11, which was not even approved. The sanctions they wanted for, that Ryan wanted. And then all of this other stuff. And now we're just like padding it. We're like, this is all about 47.1. Sure it is. And that's all well and good, but at that point, the case was over, Dove. The case was over. Then we go to June, and they have stuff in June. And that was just Manat. This is Wilkie and Farr. Wilkie and Farr. All the way down. Just never mind the fact that they're so overpriced. Like, and they're working so long. 11 hours? Like, you worked 11 hours to attend to defensive discovery, including document collection, retention, review, and organization. Honey, that's not... Okay. I guess, yeah, that was pre-discovery. I guess they would be preparing for that. But there's discovery in here from her own case, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. Emails. I didn't know emails cost money. I guess everything is money. Hold on. This was all early 2025. Legitimate. 5 months, no problem. Then we get to, again, June. Eventually. This is such a long-ass document. Oh my gosh, can I just skip to the 6? Let me see. They work a lot, huh? Jeez Louise. Oh my gosh, we're still only in April. Hold on, let me skip. Okay, now we're in June. This is long after coming up the end of his case, of Wayfarer's case against her, which is what this is supposed to be concerning. Attention to defensive discovery. How, Sway? I mean, I guess they would still be billing by that point. Okay, fine. Okay. But we're still working on spoliation motions and stuff. Like, none of this stuff was included at all. And also, I did want to point out something with the travel here. That they stayed at a very fancy-ass hotel called the Beekman in New York. Which I don't think they would have to do. Okay, here's some more. Invoices. Here are the invoices. Okay. Details. Trust me, bro. Media posts. Alright, let me skip. It's such a long ass document. Okay, let me go back. Pre-Rule 11 letter. Irrelevant. So much 47.1 in here. Sanctions. Yeah, okay. There's just no universe in which this is an appropriate ask. And you know what? Wayfarer has until July 13th to respond. They each get a week. Well, she got 2 weeks. Lucky bitch. She got an extension for this. And then she was late with this documentation here. This didn't come until 6:30 yesterday. Just so you know. I don't know what I'm getting out of this. I'm getting almost nothing out of it, but I'm just trying to show you like the breakdown that they sent to the judge. He started this. He should not have tossed out this case before discovery. He didn't give them a good chance. Alright, basically, like, that's it. Like, if you want to look at this for yourself, I'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's the update. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully the world won't end by then. And really be the end of everything. That would suck. Yeah, check out the latest on the page. And try to be safe in the next couple of days. Because y'all be doing stupid shit with the fireworks and stuff. But try your best. Oh, by the way, in the next episode, will have probably movie reviews. And I will also maybe have a concert review because I'm going to some concerts. A couple of concerts before the next episode. And that's my July, baby. Well, first I get I have a consultation on Tuesday, the 7th, for my wisdom tooth. And then eventually, hopefully, I get it taken out and I don't sound like this anymore. That is the hope. So we'll see what happens there. Also, I guess I can talk about the fake-ass wedding at MSG with Travis and his eventual ex-wife, Taylor Swift. I said it. I don't care. I do not care. Anyway, stay tuned. Have a good one.